All right, today on Talk CDL. Guess what we got today on Talk CDL?
Tell me.
Well, first off, we've got some advice for, and these are the advices from trucking companies to truckers that we've gotten recently that more than one wants us to pass on. Seriously, because we, talk to a million people.
That's good.
So we got that, and then awesome. Really, I'm excited for this. The top 10 most powerful semi-trucks in the world.
Ooh.
Yeah, so will your truck be on the list?
Oh.
Or will it not make the top 10?
So, I'm going to say, drivers, start thinking.
Oh, I thought you were going to say start your engine.
No, I was actually saying, think about where yours was going to fall. If it's going to end up being in the top 5, top 3.
Or at all.
You never know.
I'm telling you, there's a surpriser on the list. The top dog, and it's not what everybody probably thinks it is. And I'm telling you, it's a beast. I mean, it is a beast. Okay, so moving on, we will be getting to that a little later. I wanted to open up with a quick attention warning type of message. I-40, where they had shut down during a hurricane, it washed out, blah, 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 is now shut down again. It's actually on the Tennessee, North Carolina line, mile marker 450. I looked at some pictures, and there's like cars underwater.
Is that where it just washed out the storm that's went through or something like that? I thought I seen something that came up about it.
I don't know what happened, but all I know is it's loaded. Cars are like sitting there underwater, and the interstate is shut down in both directions, and they said it's going to be several weeks. And what their biggest fear is mudslides. And I'll tell you, if you look at the pictures where the I-40 is shut down, it's like this giant cliff to the right. So I can't even, with all that water, you got to be careful that it doesn't make the road weak and a bunch of people go down. So they're rightfully, making sure that it's secure before they reopen it. I don't know. I think what they need to do is put in some really good drainage system. I mean, come on. But the reason I bring it up, you have people that are going to be coming this way or that way over the next couple of weeks. And dispatchers, I would tell you, plan your drivers accordingly. Interstate 40 at the Tennessee, North Carolina border, and it is shut down, and I guarantee you it's going to be one big parking lot messed up place where people are having to exit and get off and blah, blah, blah.
I would suggest rerouting them way before all the rest of that reroute's going to end up happening near the actual shutdown spot. So,
you know what my thoughts were? If it was me, I'd go 100 miles out of my way. I mean, I really would. I'd rather pay the extra couple dollars in fuel than have to sit for, how long can you sit? Everybody already knows when the interstate's shut down and they're exiting everybody off, at one point there has to be a major bottleneck. And you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was thinking. If you reroute them, you already know, when you get within 30 miles of there, it's all going to start rerouting, right? So start rerouting early enough to where they're going to avoid all of that. I mean, there's just plenty of different roads that you could take them, and it's going to be just as good, if not better, because of that rerouting that's going to be going on. It's all going to be a ton of backups. You're going to have to give a little bit of time for that travel now when you go to your destination for your drop off or pickup, whatever, you're going to have to give that driver extra time now. So I would say start planning that reroute now so they don't get stuck in all that.
Yeah, I don't know the routing over there. I guess somehow, some way you could take 81 north and drop back down 77. I don't know. That seems like it would be like insane. There's got to be some roads. That's probably a bad route. But there's probably some roads that you can take to avoid that area. But anyways, dispatchers, start planning for this.
Or at least drivers, let them be aware.
Yeah, because, some trucking companies route you. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody, like when I was a driver, I routed me. The only time anybody would ever get on my case, if I was dumb enough to go, 500 miles out of the way, and just ignorant,
Right.
in my mapping. That was when you had to know how to read a map.
You're right. I was going to say that was the map days.
And I'm not putting the truck drivers down that don't read maps today. I mean, if I was back on the road, I enjoy Google and Siri and all that other stuff. Route me here, But what I'm getting at is some trucking companies route the driver, so the driver doesn't have the privy of doing an audible, you know what I mean, and routing himself. So if you're a company that routes, then you need to plan. If you let your drivers plan, then you need to announce it and let them know that, hey, here's a huge quagmire. It's a mess whenever an interstate is shut down and people have to get off and route, because it's not like a interchange where you're going onto a loop or something and it's all, interstate roads where you don't want it to slow down. This is exiting, probably coming to a stop sign, making a left or right to go a certain way, blah, 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 blah. Who knows? Maybe, and the other thing is maybe sometimes there's a 4-lane highway in the area that runs along a lot of interstates, and hopefully that is the way over there. But I know that's, once you get into that Tennessee, North Carolina border area and all, I think you're getting close to Black Mountain and all that stuff, so it's really hilly. So anyways, moving on. Yeah, so hey, let's take a little quick break and we'll be right back. At Spectrum Insurance and TruckingInsuranceGuy.com, we deliver fast, reliable, and affordable trucking insurance built for owner-operators and fleets alike. I used to be an owner-operator myself, so I know what matters on the road. Whether you're running cross-country routes or making local deliveries, we tailor your coverage to meet DOT requirements and keep your rig rolling. From liability and cargo to physical damage and more, we've got your back. Need a quote? Visit TruckingInsuranceGuy.com, or if you prefer to talk, call our Spectrum team for expert advice and unbeatable services at 507-884-1312. That's 507-884-1312, where there's always a human answering a phone. For over 20 years, Sumar Financial has been a trusted partner for owner-operators and small carriers, providing fast, flexible, and transparent freight factoring solutions that keep businesses rolling. Here's why truckers choose Sumar. Number 1, same-day payments. Number 2, if a broker doesn't pay, Sumar takes the loss. Zero risk for you. Number 3, no reserve plan. Get all your money up front with no hidden final payouts. Number 4, no long-term commitment. Try Sumar with no minimum volume requirements or long-term contracts. Number 5, fuel card program with top savings. The best network in the country, flexible payment methods, and IFTA support. With fast, hassle-free payments, technology-driven solutions, dedicated account executives, no surprises, no hidden fees. Trust Sumar Financial to get your invoices paid today. And when we say paid today, we mean paid today. For more information and to learn about Sumar, go to landings.sumar.com/talkcdl. That's landings.summar.com/talkcdl. If you're a driver looking for a new trucking job, check out NCI. NCI offers the following: new Kenworth T680s, competitive wages, solo, team, and students welcome, plus a full benefit package for you and your family. Check them out today at 888-311-7076. That's 888-7076, and tell them Talk CDL sent you. We're back. So, interesting article that I came across, and I kind of wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because truck drivers have it tough enough out there.
They do.
And what I mean by that, I mean the everyday normal stuff. Normal meaning backups, long hours, dangerous drivers driving around you, fatigue, being gone.
Weather.
weather, DOT, just everything just adds up. And then every now and then you got the weird accidents and things that happen to you that you might not really be paying attention to. Like, remember that person up there at Bevico in Pittston, Pennsylvania, where it was, I think it was a Sierra England driver. This is like 20 some years ago. Yeah, it was a Sierra England driver. They were, he had his wife closing the doors, and it was on a little incline, and his foot lifted up while he was doing his logs, and he drifted back and crushed her to death. Just weird things like that. And so I read of another weird one. A trucker was, let me just pull it up here. A trucker was, I guess he parked, and he was standing in front of his truck. And this is in a park. Here, let me read it. It just says, a truck driver was run over by his own truck after being fatally rear-ended by a second semi-truck standing outside of his rig. So it says the accident happened near the Long Beach port in California on Wednesday, June 18th. According to the police, the first truck driver was standing near the front of his rig after stopping, and he parked. It looks like he was parked along a curb. At about 6:40 a.m., as he stood near the engine compartment, he was rear-ended by another tractor-trailer, which pushed the first driver's truck into him, knocked him over, and then, the truck kept going. It ran him over, meaning his own parked truck. That's how hard
the other truck hit him.
Yeah. Now, you wouldn't... This is what's really bizarre. You wouldn't think that standing in front of your big rig with that's got a tractor and a trailer, that you wouldn't be safe there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You would almost think that, wow, this is a really secure area, right?
Well, I mean, most drivers take that into consideration when they're parking of the safety of where they're at and cautionary.
I believe drivers, hopefully most of them, if they're standing on the street, to where they get hit by traffic coming by, they're taking that in caution. But
by a curb, and
if I'm standing in the front, it said the engine area, so that means he was in the front of the truck. Okay, and in order to get run over, he would have to be in the front because another semi comes along, rear ends him 70 feet back. He must have been moving pretty good.
That's what I was thinking. Hit him so hard that it knocked him over and just pushed. All happened really fast.
Just like that. I mean, I don't even know, and I'm trying to warn drivers and say, listen, you got to be careful every way you go out there. But how do you take in that to consideration? How can you use caution? Now, maybe you shouldn't have got out. You know what I mean? But, maybe the guy was smoking a cigarette or he was just getting out to stretch. I mean,
we don't know. He could have been a flat drive tire and he was coming out front to look and see what happened, or got bumped something, He was checking his rig for something. Maybe he was checking his headlight. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, he could have been checking. Whatever. Bottom line is, you just don't know.
Don't know.
And really, that's what I wanted to mention. Guys, be careful because your life in 1 second. Boom.
That's the thing is can you imagine the driver that rear-ended him? He wasn't paying attention. You can't miss a tractor when it's in front of you. It's not like it's a little smart car. You know what I mean? You can't miss seeing it. It's big enough. It's your size. You can't just say, "Oh, I just didn't see that truck." No, it was there. So what were you doing that you didn't see that big truck in front of you?
Well, if you read on to the article, it said that the driver of that truck stayed and was cooperating. And it said alcohol was not a factor. It didn't. So they knew he wasn't drunk. So to me, if he's cooperating, then it doesn't sound like he had a medical issue. So
Didn't have any other kind of substance in him.
The only three other things. Two main things that could have happened: a blowout, to where if you blow a steer and it just whips you right over, boom, you're gonna hit that other trucker. Number two, you're texting and driving. You have some kind of a distraction.
Right. And that's what I was thinking, is a distraction like that.
It's sad to say in many cases today, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's true.
Right. And, it sounds like speed was a factor because he was at the port. So how fast are you going in that area? What would be the speed limit on the road outside? Now, I don't know what the speed is out there, but the bottom line is, hopefully this driver, it was a blowout. That way it's an innocent thing that happened, but if it wasn't, he's in a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. And a lot of drivers have been going to jail lately for negligence.
Well, you're a professional. You need to act it.
I agree, 100%. Anyways,
prayers out to that family of the driver.
Yeah, really, prayers to that family. That's sad. When your husband goes away, your dad goes away, and he's out there making a living, and you know him as my dad that's on the road. He's doing this to support our family, and then you gotta. It's always the weird accidents always bother me. Mm-hmm. They really do. You know what I mean? It's just
because it's harder to explain them when they're odd like that. I mean, it's just they're out of the norm, so we're used to normal.
You're sitting there going, "What are the odds?" And you got to be running it through your head. But anyways, like you said, prayers for that family. And drivers, just be cautious. Just
pay attention.
Yeah, when you're getting out of your truck, look around. You don't know. I mean, you don't know. Remember that time there was a pygmy rattler right beside our door in our driveway? Mm-hmm. Right where we park our car. And that's when Tyler was a little boy. And he's like, "Dad, come here. I want to show you something." We walk out. And there's a rattlesnake, right? Like sitting. I'm like, man, just imagine getting out of the car and not seeing that. Boom, you get whacked by a rattlesnake. Mm-hmm. So drivers, look as you're getting down. You don't know. In the wintertime, you don't know if there's a little patch of black ice. Many drivers have got down and slipped and broke their back or their neck just, as soon as they touch the ground. Mm-hmm. It just little things like that. You guys got to really don't take for granted that standing in front of a 70,000 or a 70-foot tractor trailer that you're safe. Apparently you're not.
There's always going to be something.
Apparently you're not. So yeah, I agree. And there's also the fact that if you live your life scared of everything, you know what I mean, then you're just going to be living your life scared if you think about it. So you can't be like paranoid about every little thing, but my gosh.
You don't go to extremes, but you at least have an awareness.
That poor truck driver is like terrible. Okay, moving on. Okay, so we are going to have the top 10 semi-trucks here in a few minutes, okay? I just want to go to this little, what do I call it? Little advice column.
Oh, the what we had, companies.
Right. I mean, in
company
fact,
request.
You reminded me of it this morning before we came on, and you're right. I got enough trucking companies complaining. Drivers. Here it is. When you're filling out an application, and this is really where trucking, because right now the economy is so crappy with freight that trucking companies are turning down drivers for the little stupid things.
Right.
But here's what they're seeing. They're seeing a huge amount of drivers that are just lying blatantly on their application. And what we'd like to tell you is every trucking company runs a motor vehicle report. Mm-hmm. Okay, they have to. Their insurance company requires it. But here's just as much important. 99.9% of everybody runs a PSP. A PSP is a DOT report. Now, a lot of drivers don't understand what a PSP is, Ruth Ann. And so I want to explain it.
Yes, please explain so these drivers know.
Yeah, so the PSP report, okay, anytime you pull in to a way station or anytime a DOT certified officer, a cop that's a DOT officer, pulls you over for an inspection, even DOT cops pull you over for speeding, okay, and give you warnings. If they give you a warning, I'm going to tell you something. You can get a 15 over or a 20 over, and if it's on your PSP report as a warning, a trucking company is going to consider that a ticket. Whether you like it or not, go ahead.
It might not be on your MVR itself where you paid a ticket, but it's showing up on your PSP.
Good point. It's not on your MVR, but on your PSP, it all shows up there. The other thing that shows up there is the name of the trucking company that you got inspected by. So if you work for some company for a week or a month and you don't like them and you think, well, if I put down this company, it's going to make me look like a job hopper, so you leave it off your application, they pull your PSP and they go, oh, well, you were working for ABC Trucking. You didn't put it down in your application. Therefore, you falsified your application. We don't want you. And that is happening a lot right now.
Right.
So drivers, no matter what, honesty is the best policy. And here's the other thing. Don't lie about tickets at this point, because here's what I'm going to tell you what trucking companies do. You think you're approved and they bring you into the orientation and then they sit down and they grill you. Okay. And they'll try to trick you into admitting something that's not even on your license. Okay, that maybe you had but never showed up. And then drivers will come clean in orientation. Well, yeah, I had a DUI last year, but I paid a lawyer and it's not on my license. I mean, just something weird like that, right? As soon as you admit it to the company, I'm not telling you to lie. I'm just telling you, you'd have been better off telling them before you came in. Stop falsifying your application, because right now, trucking companies do not need drivers like you think they do. They really don't. Trust me, that they don't have enough orders to where they're saying hire. What they're doing right now is they're scrutinizing every driver application, and they're calling us and asking us to pass this on because they're getting backed up in their office with applications. And when you get 50 guys in a week putting in an application and 30 of them are falsifying and not putting stuff down, these companies are going through these hoops to get you approved, and then they find this stuff 2 days later, all their money they spent, all the time they spent, not even to be able to hire you right now. The best thing you could do is call a trucking company and go, before we go on and you tell me about the job, here's what I have that's going to come up on PSP. And if you don't know what a PSP is, look it up. I just told you what it is, okay? Trust me. This is what I have, Mr. Company. Can you live with a 15 over? Can you live with the following too close? The major CDL moving violations, if you have one of the following CDL violations in the last 36 months, most companies are not going to take you. Number one, following too close. Number two, illegal or improper or unsafe lane change or erratic movement.
Handheld device.
Oh, thank you. Very good. Handheld, cell phone, anything like that. You got one of those, you might as well have a DUI. None of that stuff. And a 15 and above, the speed limit, they're not going to take you. They are not going. And I'm going to tell you something what a company told me the other day. They said, look, we can take a driver if he's got a 15 or a 20 above, if it's over 3 years. He said, but it's getting to the point where they're going to make it mandatory where it's lifetime. You know, you run a driver's license and it shows up 7 years ago, like Florida's lifetime. You run a Florida license, right? It's lifetime. Everything you did is on there. And this guy told me, this safety guy said, they're getting to the point where they're going to start making the rule. If you ever had a 20 over, they can't take you. And that's going to be a lot of your companies that do that. So you got to be careful, guys, getting those big tickets.
A lot has to do with the insurance. But here's one that you did forget was a DOT reportable. In other words, if you had an accident and even if no one was hurt, but you're towed away, the company won't take you.
I agree. Okay, so I want to tell you a quick story based on all this. A trucking company told me this story this week about 2 years ago. 3 years ago. They had one of their drivers was going down the interstate in the passing lane. There was another rig behind them, right? So the trucking company's driver passed a car and got over safely. There was no issues, right? But I guess they came to a hill or something, and the car didn't want to wait behind the car, the truck, and the other rig hadn't fully passed yet. The car goes to shoot out, right? And hits the other truck. Wipes out. It's a lady. And she dies. Yeah, bad, right? Okay, so check this out. This company that was the lead truck never touched the car, never was near the car. It had nothing to do with it. They had video, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just lost millions of dollars. They were taken to court, and they lost millions of dollars.
How? When there is nothing...
Because this is really going to blow your mind. You know how they have the rule now, if you run a criminal background on somebody, if you've been a good boy for 7 years, it don't show up. It don't matter. That's how it's set up now. If you run a criminal background on somebody and you got a felony from 8 years ago and it's been resolved 8 years ago, right? It doesn't show up. Well, apparently their driver that had nothing to do with the accident, the prosecutor, right? They ran all these records and they found that this guy had a felony that this company should have never hired him on. Well, at least that's what they're saying, right? So what they're saying is, are you ready for this? Because he should have never been there, because you should have never hired him. This is what the judge and a jury awarded millions of dollars. This is a true story. They awarded this guy, or I'm sorry, this family, okay, millions of dollars, and this was the company that had nothing to do with the accident. And everything's clear. They said nobody can figure this out. Why in the world you would award a lawsuit to somebody that is behind the truck and shoots over? Now, I'm telling you, this was like clearly long after the pass. So in case somebody's thinking that maybe when he passed them, he did something to them. No, this is not the case. This car literally didn't want to wait behind the car, I guess, because they were slowing down, because I think a hill. And boom, she went to shoot out and ended up, in a fatality. But if we're being honest, this is what it's coming down to. This is why trucking companies are having a hard time hiring people. Like we just said, 15 over, 20 over, cell phone tickets, job hopping, accidents, just all kind of stuff that, you don't think anybody's really paying attention to. And then one day you go to get a really amazing job that's in your local newspaper and you can't because of all this stuff. So drivers, what we would tell you is guard that CDL. That's CDL. A lot of truck drivers didn't go to college, Ruthann. A lot of them.
I'm still flabbergasted over
the lawsuit. What a stupid ruling.
Here it is. Today's society is so ridiculous with, you have psychologists and psychiatrists sitting there convincing people that they're sick in the mind because of something so simple, where it's like, oh, you have this disease or you have this syndrome because of something that might have happened when you were 2 years old. Or, it's just, that is going to destroy, like, if everybody would have that happen, until it happens to them and they realize how stupid it is that I wasn't even involved in any of that situation, but because you want to sit there and say, I shouldn't have been driving because of whatever reason. Do you realize Walmart can get in trouble for hiring people? And, you brought me my groceries out and you scratched my car, so I'm going to sue you for scratching my car because Walmart should have never hired you because you painted out of the lines when you were 4 years old.
No,
Come on.
Here's another one. Imagine the McDonald's clerk, right, getting sued because they were late giving them their French fries. And they said, we counted the timer. If that driver would have pulled out 3 seconds before that, right, out of your drive-through, he would have never got hit by that other vehicle. So therefore, we're suing the McDonald's for delaying the guy's French fries. I'm just saying that's exactly what that lawsuit sounded like. Yeah. It's like you're suing a company because get this, I want to say this. They ran the criminal background on this guy when they hired him years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Now, think about this. They don't have access to anything over 7 years. So they're suing this company for hiring a guy because they hired a guy with a certain felony, right? And they're saying, well, you should have known, but they had no way of knowing because now the criminal reports don't go back more than 7 years. This guy had a felony from like 10, 15 years ago, right? And I don't know if he was a repeat offender or whatever the case was, but they proved in court that this guy should have never been hired. But the trucking company's going, well, that doesn't seem right, being that there's no way we could have known he had the felony.
Right.
It's like
I didn't know you were wearing blue socks. I'm sorry.
Exactly. I mean, it's just the most.
Your underwear was plaid.
I keep telling people, I feel like I woke up in the twilight zone in the United States. You know, the rules and the weirdness that has been going on for the last so many years. You're sitting there going, what the heck? You know what's funny? I knew a guy and his family that were lawsuit nuts. His mom would slip in a grocery store. He sued a trucking company, ironically. You know, it's just like people are so sue heavy. It's so crazy that I guess suing is so prevalent that it makes it easier for lawyers to come up with new ideas and new angles, new stupid ideas to win the case.
But that's
crazy.
Honestly, if I was the judge, I would have looked at him and said, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. You're a lawyer now. Let's go back when you're in elementary and middle school. Did you bully anyone? Did you do this? Did you do that? Because if you did, you shouldn't have been a lawyer. You know what I mean? It's really weird when they pull up. I'm like I said, I'm flabbergasted. I really, 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 really hope that they counteract it.
You mean appeal it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And countersue.
I don't know. I just know that when I heard that, I was like, you gotta be kidding.
That's just,
and they were serious.
That's
anyway,
just crazy.
Moving on. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for the top 10 most powerful semi trucks in the world?
Give them to me.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to start with number 10. And
you do have to go backwards like that.
Yes.
Don't go out of order.
We're going to go backwards.
Okay.
Number 10. Are you ready for number 10? This is going to. Have you ever heard of a company called DAF? They're a Dutch truck maker. They almost look like the Scanias, right? They're number 10. DAF, the DAF XF, as in Frank, is a 530 horsepower and it can pull 80 tons. That's the number 10 semi truck in the world. Right now, I know everybody's probably thinking, okay, my truck really has a good chance. Number 9, the Kenworth the W990. That bad boy has a 565 horsepower, 12.9 liter MX-13 PACCAR engine. PACCAR, and a lot of people hate PACCAR, but the PACCAR engine made the top 10. Interesting. Number 8. I want to zip through these. Number 8, the Iveco. I've seen them. Yeah. It's a English or Dutch company. It's called the Iveco S-Way 570, which is 570 horse. That is number 8. Number 7 is a Scania. The number 7 is this, and I promise you, there's American trucks in here. Okay, but these guys are competing. Scania, the Scania R580, which obviously because of its name has 580 horsepowers. Interesting, those horsepowers. Tyler has the T-Rex, right? And it's got the Hellcat motor in his pickup truck. Mm-hmm. I think he's putting out 700 or 800 horsepower with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so the number 6 would be the 389X, Pete.
I was going to say it's a Pete.
Yeah, it's a Pete. It's got 590 horse, and it's a 14.9 Cummins X15 motor. Pretty cool, huh? That's number 6, the Peterbilt. Yay. Okay. Number 5, a German-made Mercedes Astros. It's called the 1863 6-cylinder, 15-liter rig, 625 big horsepowers. Yeah, absolutely. Number 4, the Man. You ever hear of a truck called Man?
No.
Yeah, M-A-N. They're called Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
you see them in Europe a lot. They're called Man. So I like that name. It's the Man truck.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feminists will go after them.
Where are we at here? Okay. The Man TGX 18.640. 640 horse. It's got the inline 6-cylinder motor, D38 engine. Number 3, a Scania. Scania made 2. The Scania R730-730 horsepower, 8-cylinder, 16.4 liter, 730 horse. That's what was the Pete? 590. This is 140 horsepower more than the Peterbilt. Pretty good.
Right.
Okay, we're getting down to the top 2. All right, is there going to be an American truck in the top 2?
Yes.
Number 2, the Volvo. Yeah, ain't all you guys out there making fun of them Volvos. I see the Volvo jokes. I'm just saying there's some pretty bad ones. Listen to this. The number 2 is the Volvo 16750. It said Pagini Zonda on it, right? It's a C12, 750 horse, 6-cylinder, 16.1 liter motor. And I got it. I'm jumping out of my shoes to tell you the number 1. Listen to this. Okay, this blows my mind. Okay, the number 2 truck had 750 horsepower. That was a Volvo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the number 10 truck that made the list was 530 horse. So between 530 and 750 horsepower is where the top 9 ranked. Listen to the number 1 rankings horsepower. 2,400 horsepowers. 2,400 horsepower. Is that insane or what? It's triple the number 2 in the HP. It is, and you should see this truck. It is bad. Are you ready for the name of it?
Is it one of those crane pulling ones or something?
No.
Okay.
This could pull a crane, though. I can tell you that. Number 1. Truck Parking Club is a network of instantly reservable daily and monthly truck parking locations throughout the U.S. Truck Parking Club helps connect truckers to truck parking locations throughout the U.S. via truckparkingclub.com. Our networks is made up of property owners that have locations adequate for truck parking to list on the platform. This includes trucking companies, storage companies, CDL schools, trailer leasing companies, real estate investors, truck parking operators, and more. Go to truckparkingclub.com today.
Attention trucking companies and truck drivers. If you need help with cash flow, we've got help on the way. Turn to Tab Bank, the bank that knows trucking. Tab Bank has been in the business of helping truck drivers and trucking companies with their cash flow needs for 25 years. It's just that simple. It's what they do, but they don't stop there. Tab Bank helps grow your business with their invoice, factoring, and banking services. What a plus that is. Before you book your next load, play it safe and contact Tab Bank to get their help with your factoring needs. Tab Bank helps determine the credit worthiness of your customers as well as billing and collection efforts on invoices that you factor with them. Let the experts at Tab Bank get you cash quickly for the loads you deliver. Again, it's what they do. Visit tabbank.com/talkcdl to learn more. That's tabbank.com/talkcdl. Tab Bank member FDIC.
Number 1, the Volvo Iron Knight. Seriously.
That sounds cool.
Iron Knight. It's a pretty cool truck. 12.8 liter D13 inline 6-cylinder. The torque. Listen to this. The torque on the top 9 are like 2,000 to 3,000, what they call Newton meters torque, right? This thing hits 6,000 Newton meters on the torque scale. Is that insane or what? 2,400. I would, you know what? I don't care. You can make fun of Volvo all you want, babe. You give me a 2,400 horsepower or a 389X horsepower Peterbilt with only 590 horse. I'm taking that. I'm taking the Volvo. I'm curious though. I've never heard of them. I don't know. Are they in this country? What would they even cost? I should have looked them up, cost wise, but they are bad to the bone. I will tell you though, the hottest looking truck was the Peterbilt 389X and the W990. The American trucks are definitely hotter looking. When you got that hood, there ain't nothing like them things. They ride nice. They're beautiful, shifting down the road. Most of them have the 18 speed, but I got to tell you, 2,400 horses. I would love to just take that up, up cabbage or something, with a full load just to see what it feels like going up.
I'm wondering if it's like, like where it's really mountainous and it's like, I don't know, where they're pulling. I'm like thinking like Austria or,
Oh, I'm sure some of those.
Where they're pulling some really heavy equipment to get through certain areas,
Yeah, I mean, it's insane, that kind of weight, But anyways, that is pretty much the podcast, Ruth Ann. What do you got for me? You got the word of the day?
I do.
Okay. What you got?
Nidification.
Do it again.
Nidification.
Midification.
And N-I-D. Nidification.
Oh, N is in Nancy. Nidification.
Right. Kind of like notification, but nidification.
So what? I mean, I'm not even going to guess, like, if you're nidified. What is a nidification?
Nest building.
What is it?
Nest building.
Nest building? So if I'm building a nest, for the future.
You're nidifying.
I'm nidifying. If two birds are building, they're nidifying. If I'm building a nest egg of money, I'm nidifying. Is that pretty much what it's saying?
My newlywed sister and her husband were so busy with nidification that they skipped almost every invitation for a year. From my porch, I can watch the nidification each spring as birds and squirrels begin their nests.
Well, that's super, super cool. I like that word, actually, nidifying.
Nidification.
All right. Well, is there any announcements we have at all, Ruth Ann, coming up? We are not going to be at the Houston show, obviously. That started today. I guess the next show we'll probably be at will probably be the Florida show, unless we hit one or two of the little shows here or Georgia or something like that. Other than that, I think we're out of here.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.